Can we have the lady over there ask a question, please? Can someone please pass her the mic?
Hello sir, I am Diya Lakshman. I study in class 10 at Kendra Vidyalaya IIT Chennai, and I would like to ask, as we know, diplomacy is often a game of high stakes patience. So I would like to know how you personally unplug or find clarity when you're in the middle of a multi-day international summit.
Okay, very good. So we start with blind spots and end with patience. Okay. So look, here's the blind spot issue. First of all, it's very hard to say, okay, that's my blind spot, because if you know it's your blind spot, it's not your blind spot. It's often, in a way, auditing forensics you do on yourself and your system to say, okay, we missed that, we should have seen that, we could have anticipated that. And typically, you know, in our business, there are 2 or 3, I would say, orthodoxies or natural behavioral patterns which can create problems. You know, one, there's a natural tendency to extrapolate the past. Okay, we are all empirical. If I met you 10 times, the 11th time, it's very natural, I believe, that you will behave more or less like you did the previous 10 times. So when there are sharp departures, for whatever reason, you know, the departure can be technology, the departure can be politics, the departure can be some, you know, event, of a new disruptive nature, that can actually lead one astray. The other is, again, it's also a tendency when we look even at progress. We benchmark ourselves against ourselves. You know, if you had a set of B's, okay, and then you hit an A minus, you're very happy because you say, okay, I've got out of B's, I've hit an A minus. Now, the problem is, in the next institute or the next desk or even the next student may have been actually hitting A's before you, so your A minus may not have the value which you think it does. Most you know, blind spots fall in one or the other category. You know, these two tendencies which are very common. But you can have, as they say, I mean, a black swan is a blind spot which you really didn't see coming. That it came as a combination of circumstances which was very unique and, you know, presented someone with a challenge. I would say today the possibility of this growing is quite high, because world is today being disrupted on so many variables at the same time. You know, somebody in the next question, somebody mentioned AI, for example. But if you look at technology, you look even at supply chains, you look at economic policies, you look at climate events, pandemics. I mean, just think of the last 5 years. You know, everything which people said, oh, you can have wars, but you know, in this day and age, you can't have long wars. Nobody can afford it. By the way, there's a long war going on right now, which is into its 4th year. People said, you know, oh, some regions, they will never change. Look at the Middle East and see how much it has changed. We said, oh, we are so interdependent, nobody is going to really mess around with trade, because we have too much locked into trade, nobody is going to take the risk. Guess what? Somebody took a big risk. So, I would say today, one way of dealing with blind spots is to try to continually update your risk assessments. And, it sounds like you're playing defense, That's not really the intent, but you actually continuously build a risk mitigation. If you ask me today, what are most countries doing in foreign policy? They are de-risking. They are de-risking their economy, they are de-risking their politics, they are de-risking their dealings with everybody, they are sometimes de-risking their internal, narratives. So that's really right now a very, very big challenge. Moving on to the broader issue, not just AI, but what you say, supply chains, how, what are the risks of relying on data, on models, on flows, on supply chains, on services which are not yours. Of course there is a risk. There is a risk because whoever is influencing it or controlling it or supplying it, they have an agenda. Everybody in the world has an agenda. So don't expect them not to use it. So part of, when we say Viksit Bharat, when we say Atmanirbhar Bharat, the whole idea is to motivate ourselves, and I say this to all of you, it's particularly your generation, because it's in your lifetime that Viksit Bharat is going to be achieved. That how do we build our systems and our, in a sense, self-reliance. Now again, people sometimes take it to extreme and say, oh, we are going back to the past, we had a protectionist period which didn't work out so well for us. I agree. We had issues in the earlier decades. But that doesn't mean you open up all your doors and windows and let anybody who wants to walk in come into your house. I think we need a kind of a national spirit and a national capability and a national, belief about what we can do. And I give you a very, simple, direct example which relates to people in this room. 5G. This is a country which got its 3G from outside, which got its 4G from outside. But when it came to 5G, we realized the risks of 5G, reliance on 5G from an external provider is so huge that we should make an effort. So today, if you look at telecom, if you look at space, if you look, I'm really very happy that the defense sector today has opened up so much more to innovation and to private enterprise and to creativity. I think these are things we need to do. We should not be insecure. We should not be, hostile to something coming from outside, because at the end of the day we'll be connected, but we need to build our capabilities, and that's what it is about. The unplugging bit, look, in my life I don't have off days, okay? It's not like I work Monday to Friday and say Saturday, Sunday I won't do anything, because the world doesn't accommodate that. The world still runs on a Saturday, Sunday. And often my Friday is somebody's Saturday, and, my Monday has to be somebody's Sunday. So my life is very mixed up. It doesn't operate on a single time zone. And as I said, there is no off switch, on switch. So what I try to do is within that build habits and practices and indulgences which make you a stable and reasonable and congenial person who can deal with the rest of the world. So I do what normal people do. I listen to music, I read books, I watch movies, I see sports. Most of the time I'm very normal. And that normalcy, I can tell you, in a way, if you build it into your routine, again, I'm sorry, I'm sliding into advice giving, which is not my normal, but if you build it into your cycle, if you build a physical routine into your cycle, you build give yourself some time to read, write, think, talk, watch. I can tell you your daily routine itself is so balanced that you don't need to unplug, but my wife is sitting here and she may contradict me.
So thank you for those tips, sir. I'm sure a lot of us can adapt these techniques to make smarter decisions.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to Mirror Now.